greatest to ever do it. Saucy dough.
Let me close some of these files.
Won't you start the recording?
I already did.
Oh, good. You're so
Just
smart.
a moment ago.
You're so smart.
Thank you.
Did I stop sharing?
You did.
You can't
How
say
did I do
anything
that?
about Ed's thing.
What?
Oh, yeah. I'm not going to say anything about that thing.
Yeah. To what we just talked about, Ed. We don't want to talk about that.
Mm.
We don't want that to be part of the intro.
Mm.
Mm.
We're going to have to cut that sound out.
Oh, you're
You like that
recording?
sound?
Yeah.
That's what I was saying.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
How come? I like how you got the screen set up, Laura, where I'm taller than Ed, so that's nice. I hope that's
Well,
right.
I'm going to fix that
Oh, come on.
in
Ed
the
looks like he's
edit.
sitting in a hole.
Let him have his day.
Okay.
It's okay.
All right.
Okay.
So, again, Violet's ready.
She's ready to go. I'm about to turn my mic off just in case she starts crying.
All right, Laura. So you're ready to go. And Edward,
Always.
comb your hair.
I mean,
Comb your hair, sir.
I'm wearing my non-computer glasses, so I will have a headache eventually. But for the Fresh CrEd, anything.
All right. Very good. So let's go. Ready. 3, 2, 1. Let's get this show started.
With 50 plus years of combined produce, supply chain, entrepreneurial, and business experience, Craig, Slate, and Ed Bertaud discuss the impacts of fresh produce on their lives and health. This podcast is a casual conversation between two friends just trying to get better. This is the Fresh CrEd.
Oh, yeah. That's where I come in, right? So, good morning. Good morning, the Fresh CrEd family. And good morning to all our fabulous listeners. Although, as usual, it may or may not be morning when you're choosing to listen to this. So, whatever time it is, good one of those. And Mr. Ed Bertaud, my friend and co-host of the Fresh CrEd, how are you today, sir?
I am great, Mr. Craig Slate. How are you?
So, I'm feeling great, Ed. I got a good night's sleep last night. Woke up
Oh.
feeling well.
I'm jealous.
Shiki Bhutan is coming through. I've been off the road for 2 or 3 days. That's been amazing. So all sorts of things going my way. So I gotta say, excellent. And you, how are you?
Small
you sleeping
victories.
well?
No, I'm not sleeping
Yeah,
well.
you got to take what you can.
Yeah.
Seriously, too much on your mind. Yeah.
I
What
mean,
you thinking about?
I'd argue. I mean,
You'd argue.
I'd argue that I probably could stop the caffeine intake a little earlier in the day. I mean,
Yeah.
I think I told you my grandfather used to sleep with a cup of coffee by his bed and take a sip like in the middle of the night. Like that's how.
Did he also have a cigarette and a cup of coffee?
No, just a cup of coffee, but
Because I know
that's
people
how
used to do
into
that.
coffee he was. And so I like to think once in a while that I could handle the same. And so, yeah, it's not uncommon 6, 7 o'clock to maybe drink a little coffee, but yeah, people are tired of hearing about that.
Yeah, maybe they are. Who knows? I don't know what they're tired of hearing about. They don't ever comment on any of our pages, so how could we know anything? So
Yeah, that helps.
thank you guys all for not commenting. So a little feedback be nice.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, the Slate family coffee. We had the same program. My dad, my gosh, Sunday evening, that was the big deal. Go to my parents' house. We have, you do church in the morning. Go to the family for Sunday lunch after everybody got in from church. Meet up over with my parents, and the afternoon or evening was a pot of coffee and something sweet to eat. That was tradition, man.
Piece of fruit.
And yeah, we were drinking.
A piece of fruit.
Yeah. A piece of fruit maybe stuck on top of a pineapple cake or something like that. That would have been the fruit program at the old Slate house. Back then. But No, but by my dad, my family, coffee drinking has been a standard since I was a kid. So yeah, I drink a lot less for that very reason. Me and you talked about that previously. I switched to I'm a decaf guy when it gets in the evening. If I'm still drinking, I'm trying to just drink tea in the afternoon, decaf tea. So
Wow.
you should try that.
I have
You
some.
should try
It's
alternatives.
hard. Yeah. I'll do better.
Why is it hard? Is it seriously hard?
Well, I mean, sometimes, honestly, I just need that extra boost to get through the rest of the day. I mean, I've got stuff to do, and it's just easy to, yeah.
So you're medicating yourself with
Sure.
caffeine?
Yeah. Judge me.
So you're the one that said it. I was just saying.
I could be at the corner bar, boozing.
Maybe you should, but
happy
maybe
hour.
You should look for more health.
Yeah, Ed drank some coffee so he could bust ass for the rest of the day. Sue him.
There's nobody getting sued here. There's no one getting sued in this. This is just.
Hey, I'm not getting defensive.
I'm just saying. You are getting defensive, for crying out loud. It's a little stinking question about you medicating yourself with freaking over consumption of caffeine. That's all I'm saying. Maybe you need to think about that. See somebody.
Okay. I'll write that down.
Yeah, you should. All right. So
aside from being hypercritical,
besides your troubles with caffeine, what else can we talk about today?
Somebody woke up on the self-righteous side of the bed this morning of his cheeky bouton.
Self-righteous. See that? Nobody's ever accused me of that.
Here's the other problem. When there's something good...
we're back to what do you mean the other problem? I didn't know we had a first problem.
So my additional problem is my wife introduced me to another great series on TV. And so aside from wanting to do a lot during the day, before work, during work, after work, when I wind it down, I've got to watch a little of The Last Kingdom on Netflix. Series that's been around for a while, but I'm hooked. It's awesome. Like, I'm knocking out 2 and 3 episodes at a time.
So I don't know anything about the last. So it's not the Lion King, right? Or the King Lion, that guy that freaking had the tigers. Tiger King. It's not the Tiger King.
No, it's not.
Because I'm telling you, that was a hell of a good series.
Yeah. No, it wasn't No, it's a British historical fiction series based on the Saxon Stories series of novels. So it takes place in 800 AD, and Saxons, Danes, which would have been, the Vikings, for lack of a other term, and the Saxons were who occupied what is modern day, Scotland, Ireland, England. So it's a lot of war. 800, 900 AD. Pretty gory, but great storyline, and they had like 4 seasons of episodes. Really good. I highly recommend it. But my problem is, I'm watching 1 or 2 episodes every night, and that doesn't help me get to sleep either. So, example, the other night, I fall asleep. I fall asleep watching.
What's it called? What's the name of What's the name of the series? What's the series name?
The Last Kingdom.
The Last Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes place in 800, 900 AD?
Correct. Yeah. So the other night I'm watching, as I'm falling asleep, there's like somebody being burned alive. And I fall asleep, and I guess Bryce was up making something to eat. And for some reason, I don't know why, it smelled like something was burning, and it woke me up. It scared the crap out of me. I thought the house was on fire.
Somebody's being burned alive or something?
I jumped out of bed, it's not funny, but I jumped out of bed. And
well, it is kind of funny. I can see.
Well, it's one of those where you're falling asleep and reality kind of melts into fantasy, I guess, or your dreams. And so, yeah, it scared the crap out of me.
So is it important to be amped up on caffeine when you watch this series?
No.
Sounds kind of like it.
No, but I mean, I don't know. It's not really relaxing. I mean, you're not even supposed to be watching TV in bed. There's folks that would argue you're not even supposed to have a TV in your bedroom. But I've just
So what
I've
are
just
what are
always
you
been one of those
doing to
people that
yourself?
I've got to watch some TV before I go to bed. Like, it's just a bad habit. I have to, right?
No,
I just
no,
have to.
man. Just like that old habit you used to have where you had to have breakfast. Remember those days?
Oh
I
man,
have to
I
eat in
let
the
somebody
morning.
have it last night on the whole I've got to eat breakfast.
Oh
Mm-hmm.
my gosh, you didn't get out there. You didn't freaking
Oh, I got on my
talk
high
about self
horse.
righteousness.
Oh
Did you climb up
boy,
there?
I wasn't on the high
Oh,
horse. I was standing on the high horse.
doing pony tricks, right? One leg
Yeah.
in the whole
Yeah, I ran into
circus act,
somebody
right?
who I hadn't seen in a while. He's like, "Man, you look great. What are you doing?" And so, of course, I took the opportunity to say, "Well, I've been eating healthy and I've been fasting. I've been this and
I was on
that."
a
And he's like, "Yeah,
podcast.
man. God, I wish I could do that, but man, I just have to eat breakfast." And I said, "Bullshit." And they said, "No, really. I've got to eat breakfast every day or else I can't function." And I said, "Bullshit." And then he said, "No, I'm serious." He says, "I can't function if I don't eat." And I said, "Well, you're not diabetic, are you?" And he said, "No." I go, "Okay, well then, bullshit." This is like at a friend's house gathering thing. So yeah, he looked at me like,
Yeah.
"Wow, what are
Sound
you
like you were
nuts?"
making good friends,
Yeah.
building on this
Well, I've
whole
known him
health
for a
test. The way
while.
we,
Yeah, but no, I really,
berate him. So
I, I think I made a dent. Like I made him think about it, and I told him to call
you
me.
think so? You think maybe he's gonna take your challenge?
I think so.
Yeah, I'll probably wind up in wind up in the hospital, thinking some kind of sugar reaction because he hadn't eaten. His doctor, who the hell told you not to eat? You'll be in a
Yeah.
freaking lawsuit.
I don't know what's wrong with me, doc. I just stopped eating, and I don't feel good.
My buddy told me this and he told I was full of shit if I didn't.
Yeah.
Well, hey, that's
Meanwhile,
you know what?
meanwhile, I waited for him to leave till I had a piece of cake. I actually had a piece of cake. I couldn't help it. I mean, they had this cake that was like, it looked like a wedding cake. It was for anniversary of my wife's friend's business. It was a small gathering, backyard, but she did it up like right. It was awesome. Tents and it was really, really well done. She had this beautiful cake made, and
For small gatherings, tents are always required.
well, I mean, it was just in case of weather, but the weather was phenomenal. So I saw the cake as we were walking in, and barbecue was dinner, and like there was bread on the front of the line, there's bread in the middle of the line, there's bread on the end of the line.
Why do they push that stuff? Why are they pushing bread?
And well, I mean, it's a filler to a certain degree, right? I mean, it helps fill you up.
Well, I know, but
so I skipped all the bread.
It's like the bread industry's always got to push.
I had just the barbecue because especially I knew I was gonna have some cake. I couldn't help it, but it was good. It was really, really good. Anyway, that guy wasn't there anymore. So I was safe in I was safe in the knowing that
hopefully that guy doesn't listen to the show.
Oh, so. He won't. And if he does, you know what? Call me.
So, tell him, all right, I want you to pass on though. So send him a note. Dr. Predrip.
Okay.
Pradrip, I believe. Doctor, he's a cardiologist. And he's got several YouTube videos. I've only watched one. My best friend, who's going on this, he's gotten big into fasting. He's now down to he eats once a day, and it's been super beneficial for him. And he's one of our regular listeners. Anyway, he told me about this guy 2 or 3 weeks back, and I went and watched his video. And yeah, he makes a huge case for the benefits of either time feeding or fasting. And yeah, so it's I don't know what, like I say, since I've only watched one of the one YouTube that deals with fasting, like is maybe his first one that he did. I don't know what the rest of his are about. So, just make sure that if you listeners go and listen to it, or your buddy goes and listens to it, make sure they seek out the one where he talks specifically about introducing or where he got into fasting, because he was not a believer in fasting originally, but has become to be a believer and has seen the enormous effects from it. So definitely worth, I think it's about a 45-minute watch. So highly recommend it. Send that to your buddy.
Yeah, I've got a couple
Or all you
articles
listeners
too
go
that
listen.
a friend of ours sent me this week too that talked about intermittent fasting, reducing the chance of injury in older adults, as well as improved sleep quality. And I can't say that my sleep has improved, but I will say that I fall asleep. My problem's always been falling asleep. Like, I don't know what it is. I just fight sleep and I fight sleep and I want to sleep. I like sleeping, but I fight it. I envy people that just pass out or fall asleep, at the drop of a hat. But I will say that I
That's
fall
me.
asleep easier, but I don't know if it's just because I'm running hard, all day, every day, and that's why I fall asleep easier. But the staying asleep thing is not great. Anyway,
Well,
not
Doctor? I think it's Scott Walker. Scott Walker is the sleep doctor. That's the guy you want to go listen to. All things related to sleep.
really. He's gonna say, "Pull the
So,
TV out of my room,"
yeah.
and I don't want to hear that. I
Well,
can't do
yeah,
that.
but no, I mean, no. This guy. Let me make sure that is Dr. Scott Walker. Make sure it's his first name, Walker. Let's see here. Yeah. Nope. Somebody in Tucson. So he's not in Tucson, I don't think. Boy, it'd be great if he was. But anyway, no. This, I mean, just the. I think we've talked about this guy because I mean, this dude, and it is Scott Walker. He's got a couple of YouTubes out there. Matthew Walker, not Scott. Dr. Matthew Walker on sleeping. So I'm telling you, but he gets into all the different health issues. I mean, this guy lives and breathes sleep. He runs like some sleep center. I mean, he knows the ins and outs. Been studying for years, and I mean, even things like he's got a thesis that believes that things like dementia and Alzheimer's are sleep related or lack thereof. Right. So over the years, we build up um, things that you should be clearing out in your brain when you get a good night's sleep, which is 7 to 8 hours of actually being asleep. Your brain is doing some things to clean out stuff while you're at that time. And so people that, go without sleep don't get that and wind up potentially having Alzheimer's or dementia set in earlier. So he's got a ton of different, I mean, he's got a ton of information out there on the benefits of sleep. And you'll find yourself, it's the thing that I've always, up until hearing him, it's one of the least favorite guys I've listened to because I hate sleep. I hate it for the fact it's such a waste of my time. I think about how much of my life, 1/3 of your freaking life, right? I'm here for, call it 80 years, and a third of that, I'm going to be freaking out of it. It's like, what a waste. So I'd always tried to get as little sleep as possible. But since, listening to him, I do better. I'm much better than I used to be, for sure.
Yeah,
So,
it's not a waste of time anymore.
Caffeine, cutting that out. Yeah, it's not a waste of time anymore. No, because like I said, I'm not going to live forever. Just want to run across the finish line, right? I want to finish strong.
Finish
Don't want to be
strong.
finishing weak.
Speaking of finishing strong,
Yeah.
last week's interview was pretty exciting.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to lie. So by now, folks that are listening in order know that we had a great interview with Ashley Ojeda Porter and her journey of clean eating and, particularly to assist in her mitigation of her lupus symptoms and what she's experienced. It was pretty great. I mean, she was obviously passionate about it. I mean, she had me. I was right there. I was about to go over the top, if you know what I mean.
Oh, I know. I saw you.
I was
like I say, I was like, oh, I'm gonna lose both of them here, and then what am I gonna be doing? Because
you know that I guess would it be biomechanical? A trick to keep yourself from crying is to clear your throat.
like that.
Yeah. Yeah, like if you're ever
Didn't I?
trying to keep from crying, you clear your throat. Actually works. I've tested it a couple
Huh.
times. Yeah,
Well,
I'm a
you
big
know,
crybaby.
I think about because Tanya's father, big man. I mean, he looked like his arms were like Popeyes, short, stocky fella. I mean, he was a feed dealer, so he lifted sacks of feed
Mm.
for years, and just he's a big, stocky dude, and he's a pretty tough cat too, right? He carried this freaking big ass pistol to the store with him, and um, someday I'll tell you about my story of asking him to marry his daughter. That was fun. So we should put that
Oh
on the list
boy,
of things to
I'd have
talk
liked to
about.
been a fly on the wall
Yeah,
for that.
oh my God, my brother-in-law was, and yeah, it's quite comical.
Hey, do you think I can? I was wondering
Oh,
if.
buddy, it's kind of like that. Yeah, I can say, and nobody had pre-warned him either. So. Oh yeah. I'm trying to think what literally
Let me talk to you about the
I,
features and
I'll tell
benefits of me marrying your daughter.
we did this real quick because I mean we've started this. We'll go, but yeah. So I can only describe.
What's it gonna
and Laura's
take
laughing
to
in
get
the
you into this
background.
marriage today?
I had never met the man until this weekend. Tanya was living in Dallas. I was in Dallas. Her family's from North Louisiana.
Hmm.
Go home for the first time to meet the family, right? And and he had this feed store down at the end of their property. You could walk back and forth to it, but he had this feed store, and in case things got out of hand, he had this I don't know, freaking 450, I don't know, big ass gun that he had underneath the counter, and he'd sit that on the counter, and he'd count the money, count it out, finish out the day every day. So I'm sitting in this rocking chair, nervous as nervous as a cat in a room
full of
rocking
rocking chairs.
right? Yeah, so there you go. And anyhow, I finally get to his and I'm like, Mr. Joyner, I got a question to ask you. And now he got no idea what's coming, man. He's standing, and you got to remember, this is the last of 3 kids, and he loved his daughter. I mean, his plan was for his daughter to come home and live next door on the property because his other 2 kids lived there on the property, and he had a place for Tanya. So the whole family's going to be there on the 45 acres.
In the compound.
And I'm this city slicker from Dallas, Texas, and good Lord.
That danced your
I
way
asked
right
him, I
into
said,
her
Mr.
heart.
Joyner, Mr. Joyner, I just wondered, would it be all right if I married your daughter? Dude, you could have heard a freaking pin drop. I mean, silence. It's not like, oh, that's awesome. Give me a hug. None of that, right? Dead freaking silence. Her brother's standing there, and it's like her brother's standing there, and he's got this big grin. I'm just sitting there, sweat's like pouring off my face. Like, what's going to be the answer, right? He finally, and this is it. This is the greatest line because he didn't know. He was just like punched in the damn gut. He's like, well, son, she's 21 years. She's older than 21. I guess she can damn well do whatever she wants to. I'm like, okay, sir, thank you.
Thank you for your blessing.
I appreciate that. I was like, I'm going to go now. And I hauled ass down to the house.
We'll send you the bill.
Oh my God. Yeah. Well, she's 21 and older. She can damn well do whatever she wants to. Thank you very much, sir. So, but whole point of that, what we went off on that tangent, he's a super, super tough guy and super like that. That was him. But at the wedding, right, when we're getting married, and one thing became obvious when he got emotional, because showing emotion, crying was the last thing he ever wanted to do. But he would always he would do that coughing thing. So maybe he knew that what you just that little trick you had, somebody must have told him long before YouTube and computers. I don't know, some that country learning, I guess. But yeah, he was when he was trying to give Tanya and tell the preacher that I give my daughter, he couldn't get it out. He just could and he mumbled out whatever he was trying to say and then sat down, and then he began to cry after he got sat down. So
I mean, hacks have been around forever. They just didn't call them hacks, right? Another
called
one
him wives' tales, didn't he?
Yeah, I guess. Another one you just made me think of was particularly when I felt my worst. I'd get my racing heart rate and all this crap. I'd be in bed trying to sleep and my heart's pounding. I was talking to my doctor about it, and he said, close your eyes and put light pressure on your eyeballs, and it'll help bring your blood pressure down. And I got to the point where I would get like a wet rag and I'd put them over my eyes, and I just put light pressure, just enough where it's not uncomfortable, but a good amount of pressure.
Right.
And it dang works. I mean, it literally brings down your heart rate and I guess your blood pressure. I never took my blood pressure to see if it went down, but I knew that like the racing heart went down from that. So it's pretty interesting. How did we get here?
You know what?
So
we
he
never
didn't
actually
shoot you.
stay on the path. He
didn't shoot you,
didn't,
so that's
no.
good. Unless you survived the gunshot wound. No. Maybe you should have been like the Last Kingdom. You should have showed up with some pieces of silver, because that's the way they rolled back then. Like when you asked them, you should have like dropped a big sack of silver on the counter.
There was nothing good. There was nothing. Yeah, you know.
You didn't have a bag of silver.
In that moment, he was mad. He was mad nobody told him about it, because, and I'm so glad nobody did, because he would have been even more
prepared
funny and prepared to be meaner and funnier, right? Had he known. You know, that was the thing about him, was that it came out of nowhere, so he didn't know how to react, right? It was like, well, you know, I'm sure he's thinking, hey, I met you like yesterday for the first time, and now.
So he didn't say, son,
what am I supposed to say?
I've got a good feeling about you. You're going to be a successful podcaster one day. Hell yeah, you could marry my daughter. He didn't say that.
He said none of those things. In fact, I'm not sure he said. It was years later before he ever thought it was a good idea. I think it was, so yeah. But no, he was a wonderful man. But I can tell you that was, whoo. And I mean, Tanya didn't. I mean, she lived in a very small, woodsy area. You know, I likened it to. You ever seen the movie Deliverance?
Sure have.
Yeah, so I think they might have had a few banjo players nearby. So that's kind of what it was. Swampy, banjo players, that whole program. So, no, it's a good space, and still there, and like I say, good people and good times. But it was certainly a scary day for me, and Tanya thought it was super funny. Everybody laughed. Everybody had a good laugh on that. So. Anyhow, I don't know how we got there.
I don't know, but it made me think of Duck Dynasty, the show Duck Dynasty. The dad,
yeah,
he's funny, super dry, you know, just real matter of fact.
Yeah,
it got very staged towards the middle to the end of the show, but at the beginning it was pretty raw. Like it was just, yeah, the whole kind of country.
So that family actually owns. So they wound up buying. One of their properties is actually Tanya's, one of her uncle's property. So it butts up next to Tanya's family property. It was actually part of the whole. One time it was all it was all within her family. The place that they got. They call it something. It's like where they do these big events and stuff like that. They have stuff that goes on over there, and so. I don't think anybody permanently lives there, but it's a big house and they have big gatherings and stuff. So anyway, for what it's
like
worth,
a family home place type deal.
Kind of deal. It's kind of like I say, it's for get-togethers and parties and stuff like that. And then I actually went back the very early days of Duck Dynasty when it was kind of a novelty. We went to the place where they filmed it and watched them film over there. You know, and you could go in the store and meet them and everything else. It was kind of funny looking back on it. And Tanya's, my nephew went to school with one of them. I don't know. I never really watched the show. I watched maybe a couple episodes, so I don't know anybody's name or anything about it. It never really resonated with me. It seemed kind of silly. And, you know, I grew up with those people, so. It was, like I say, I knew all those guys. I may have not known them, but I knew people certainly plenty of them like them. So
Well, if you ever want to take a road trip, I'll go with you. Preferably
yeah,
during duck season.
I don't even know if you can. I don't know if you can get there. Oh yeah, with the shoot, man, duck. If you're gonna go duck hunting, you need to be down south, down there. You're in the better part places to be duck hunting.
It's fun. I mean, out on the bay for sure, but East Texas, Louisiana is pretty good too. Wow, where have we been? We started talking about Ashley and our interview last week.
You had a good, Ashley, and how good that was. And next thing you know, you got me talking about my proposal to get married. Holy Toledo!
Well, it was great because we're talking about crying. It got we're trying to
There you go.
That's gonna be a hashtag right there. Crying. Let me write that down. Stop crying. Don't be a crybaby.
It's gonna be you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's you.
So
that was a great interview, though. Ashley was awesome. I told several people when I was in D.C. this week that I ran into was talking about the show. I was like, I personally think it's going to go down as maybe our best one to date. We'll see.
Yeah.
And I think we're doing a 2-part series, right? Or we did it. I guess at this time, I forget that everybody, when we do this, and by the way, the bad news is with this, it's probably going to be 3 weeks old by the time, or 2 to 3 weeks old, 2 weeks old, by the time y'all get to hear it.
But if somebody jumps forward to listen to today and didn't listen to that, they will go back.
They need to jump back.
Potentially back to listen to it, yeah.
Is it going to be 16, 17? Laura, is that right? Shake your head. Have Violet wave her arm.
It's 17, part 1, and then it'll be, I guess, episode 18 will be part 2.
Gotcha.
It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, it was good, and it was fun to have a guest. I mean, wow, it's super easy when you have a. I mean, with the guest, I think as far as just content, the flow of the podcast, it just becomes so much easier. Especially, obviously, with a great story. So that was a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to doing more stuff like that. I mean, I love talking to you, but I think people get tired of hearing about, your Shiki Bhutan and my step counts and that kind of coffee, and it's getting old. More interviews.
Well, you're not really making things look good for our future show. I mean, if they get...
Well, you know what? If it wasn't
this is our show,
darn jobs, we'd have more exciting stuff happen to us. We can talk about. I'm going on vacation soon, so feel free to get a guest host.
Oh, that's right. You're going on the elk hunt, right?
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to be gone for 2 weeks. You'll miss me when I'm gone.
Are you gonna? So Laura,
I'm gonna send you some video.
Can we post that or something of Ed doing something crazy, like getting in a boat, making a hot tub, or anything like that?
Like Alone Ed edition.
Yeah, I want to see Ed make a damn boat or hit a squirrel with a freaking rock. I want to see one of those two things happen.
That would be cool.
So what's the dates on that?
I will leave the Wednesday before Halloween, and then get back like November. Oh God, I don't know, 9th or 10th. It's right at 2 weeks from that Wednesday. Yeah,
you excited?
It would be fun it would be fun. Like, it's crazy because when we were young, I mean, we'd have to drive 30 miles of town to use a payphone to communicate, home. And then slowly but surely, things grew, and they started building refineries off in the distance. And so, they had, obviously had to have support staff and stuff. So then your phone would work when you're on the top of the mountain. Like during the day, we camped down in the valley and hunt up in the mountains. So your phone would work spotty during the day up on the mountain. And now last year, my phone actually worked in camp in some spots, which was like mind blowing. But I don't think to the extent that I could stream video.
I was going to ask if you watch. Would you watch? So you don't watch any videos when you're sitting in the.
We watched some baseball and some football, or no, some football. Yeah, we did a little, but like you had to hold it a certain way and put one arm up and stand on one leg, and like.
Right.
Yeah. So. Who knows? We might be able to pull one off. I'll know by that like Thursday or Friday before. Although you would have already set up a guest host, so.
Yeah. I'll set. I got to think. I got to be thinking about that. Who am I going to do? My. I'll be thinking that through. You know.
Well, you could say
all you
no. I can't
listeners
do it
out there
without
that
you,
might-
Ed. We'll just, take a hiatus. But that's fine. I don't want to stop you from. I don't want to hold you back.
I don't want to lose the momentum. I don't want to lose the momentum.
Okay. All right. Well,
we'll see.
I can start interviewing people as soon as tomorrow if you'd like.
Or I could just do interviews. Maybe I could get a couple of people and just do an interview. We'll figure.
I'm starting to get jealous. You better watch it.
Oh my gosh! Would you not?
When you go on vacation, I'm already gonna start lining people up.
I had to find somebody else named Ed to have a show with us. The name of the show would have to change.
Yeah, so, that's the least of it.
Or Eduardo.
You can do
Edwin.
Yeah. All right. So great interview with Ashley. Highly recommended if you didn't listen. A tremendous real story of, someone that has benefited from clean eating and really taken control of
her health.
Her health, yeah. It's awesome.
Yeah. So, hey, something I want to talk about before I forget.
Hey,
speaking of health. Hey. Well, you weren't going to give me a good segue, so I'm just breaking it. That's what you call a non-segue segue.
Yeah, that was definitely forced. But okay, what do you want to talk about, Craig?
Well, because I was afraid of where you might go, and then all of a sudden, then I'm not able to get this in. So yeah, that was very forced. So
sure,
very observational. Donut King, buddy.
Donut King, is that somewhere?
So
you
I figured
in
you didn't want to
Washington?
watch Molly. You couldn't watch Molly. All right, so maybe the fact that you think this is about donuts, you're gonna watch it.
Okay,
that's what I'm saying.
Are you implying that I eat donuts?
I will not say that. What's that?
Are you implying that I eat donuts?
I am implying that. Yeah.
Okay, I haven't had a donut in over 2 years.
Sweet things.
Yeah.
Really?
All right. Yeah.
Is that because there hasn't been any at a party?
No, I just have abstained.
Just. All right. So, Donut King has nothing to do with eating. Well, I mean, I guess you could, but it's not really about that. But you know what? It is applicable. So the reason I think so, you have to watch it. Just top line, it has to do with the Cambodian refugees in the mid to late 70s when Cambodia fell. But it is timely in a sense of how and what went down during that time frame and how everybody was reacting to all these refugees, what we do to them, and all that's going on with the Haitians and just immigrants in general. And so it's a pretty wild story, and it kind of gives you a little perspective as to immigration's a big deal in this country, and a lot of immigrants have built a lot of really good businesses and contributed in a significant way economically to the country. They're coming from places where they have the ability to do nothing, and they're basically just poverty, and they're just looking for a way to feed and educate their kids. And so with that being your baseline, you'll work hard, you'll do whatever you got to do to try and make a living and be a part of society. And we take for granted, but this country really offers opportunities that, in my opinion, no place else in the world offers people. And that's why you have so many people battling to get here. And yeah, again, I think it's informative based on what's going on today, but it's also informative to what actually happens over time and how these people assimilate into society and how they begin to contribute. So
that is not where I expected you to be going with something called Donut King.
Yeah, I didn't think you would.
Yeah.
You know, and you have to watch it. It's a good show. And being a California kid, it'll probably resonate with you um, a little bit, because you would have been growing up in the time these guys were building these empires. So, but I still say Mully's better. Uh, but Donut King's a good one. So.
I wrote it
So
down.
how about you? Anything of interest to watch or educational I should be watching?
Yeah, I spilled the beans early on Last Kingdom.
Oh, that's right. We did talk Last Kingdom, didn't we?
Yeah. And my quotes for this week
Did
come from the Last Kingdom miniseries, which
So
again is
are you sure
fictional
we actually
based on
during
relevance.
the live conversation?
Yeah.
In a live conversation here, we talked about Last Kingdom.
Yeah, we talked about the Last Kingdom.
All right. I'm getting a head shake from our producer, so apparently Live Kingdom's been covered. So
See, we're paying attention.
all right, so
You, although, look like you're about
Yeah,
to take off
all right, well,
into space on a rocket. Like that chair is like that is. I've never seen. I mean, I've seen high back chairs, but that sucker is ultra high back.
well, you know, they're sending everybody into space. Speaking of that, you saw they sent freaking what was it, four regular citizens. I mean, obviously most of them are smart people, but uh, they were in orbit for 3 days, for crying out loud. They didn't just go up, break the atmosphere, and come back down like the first two space journeys. This was Elon Musk, his SpaceX, I think, is his.
Mhm.
Did you see that? This was a week or two back.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't.
Apparently, you didn't see that.
I did see it. I didn't pay a huge amount of attention to it, but I did see it. So if you have,
So what happened? How in the
opinions.
world? How in the But how in the world does this world, right? How do we get to a place where four regular Joes, not people that spent years training to be astronauts and learn, how do we blow them up into space? They rotate around the Earth for 3 days, come back down without issue. Private company, not government ran. How does that not become like bigger than anything else going on, right? I mean, how in the world does it become so mundane that it's just crazy to me to think about? That's not, hell, I don't even think the president mentioned it. It's like, although I don't think he likes Elon Musk either, so that may have something to do with it. But yeah, doesn't that seem crazy? I mean, I mentioned it to you, and you're like, yeah, I heard something about that. I saw it.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
you got
huge,
used to it
dude.
at this point. People have just gotten desensitized to it, and it's it speaks a lot to society. Like what impresses us, how much it takes to get a rise out of us, and how easily we get accustomed to things, and just like, what's next? What's the next shock? Give me something else. Give me something bigger. Like we're constantly consuming at high rates, even, content, emotions, like all this stuff. Right? Is that where you're going with
insane. Yeah. Yeah. It's to me, it's, yeah. I mean, we just, like I say, take it mundane, 30 years ago, I'd have told you we're going to have, hell, 20 years ago, regular Joe's going into space. You think about that, 20 years ago, 2001. It would have been amazing to even talk about people flying. I think we were still running the space shuttle back then, right? We were still kind of getting jazzed about, space shuttle going around,
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of a big deal in space day. Now we got people going up. I mean, and I guess by the time we get to freaking Mars, nobody's going to care. It's like, we got to Mars. We knew that was going to happen. That was no big deal. So I don't know. Yeah, it seems wild to me. I was going to dovetail off of that onto something else. I can't remember, but maybe I'm.
Were you going to mention how there's been more people? There's been more people to reach Earth's orbit than have played in the Ryder Cup.
No,
that's a little tidbit
I was
for you.
Not. But
okay, well, we talk about it later.
That's it. The Ryder Cup.
Yeah, there's been like over 550 people that have reached Earth's orbit, and there's many fewer. I think it's like 200 or something that have played in the Ryder Cup. But that's not where we're
really
going.
550 people?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that was correct.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been going to space for a while.
I would have missed.
Still impressive for sure. But
Yeah, it's super impressive, and take it for granted. So much things. We
Have
take
you seen
everything
the Have you
freaking
seen the movie Hidden Figures?
granted. No,
Oh, you got to watch it. It's a good movie.
Laura has.
Yeah, it's early on in the
Send
space
me that.
program. Before there
Way
were
too much.
computers.
Is it better than that Alone? It's better than Alone, right?
I think so. Yeah, it's early on in the space program.
Oh, it's just different than Alone. It's way different.
Yeah,
It's really good though. I
totally
thought it
different
was
story.
awesome.
Yeah, but just how smart people had to be pre-computer. This was the dawning of the space age, and a lot of the calculations that were done by human beings versus computers. So it's good.
This is the dawning of
Oh my
the
God, who's gonna
age
sing?
of Aquarius.
Okay,
You know that song?
I do.
All right.
Hey, tell me about DC. So you're in DC this week.
I was talk
I'm
about
super
people
jealous.
that are.
That's one of my favorite trips.
You should.
Man,
I realized it's one of my favorite cities. I've enjoyed going to that event and been going, 20 plus years now. Pretty much. I probably missed a couple in that 20 some odd years, but
so to be clear, so folks know,
I did.
It's the United Fresh Washington Produce Policy Conference, where leaders from the produce industry gather to lobby and storm Capitol Hill and meet with members of Congress to address.
Okay, you can't say storm Capitol Hill anymore. After
Okay.
January 6th, we can no longer use
in a
that
good way,
phrase.
no, in a productive way, to seek support for different, various issues facing the industry. So, all right.
Yeah.
Was that?
There was no storming. Let me just get that
Okay, no
clear
storming
out there.
But
it is one of my favorite cities. It is one of my favorite events. What are you gonna say?
I was just gonna say you strolled
We
onto Capitol Hill.
We marched like a marching band. Well, of course, everything's
March
different
sounds
now with
pretty
COVID,
ominous too. If you really want to get,
Does
yeah,
it?
yeah,
I
marching
guess.
sounds pretty ominous. How about you? Strolled.
Skipped.
You skipped on the Capitol Hill. Okay.
Skipped on Capitol Hill. Yeah. You know what? Look, I just want to talk about my run. Okay, can I talk about my run?
Well, I was just gonna say, let me just say one more thing. The lobbying part, like
Say
you
something
literally
funny.
stand in the hallway a lot of the times to have these conversations that I don't think people realize.
Oh
yeah. That's the funny part. Like if you've never been to Washington.
Well, yeah, and it's even different now, right? With COVID, you got to get escorted in. There's no loitering around. You can't just bounce between offices and stuff like that. And it's even different, right, with the COVID program. So, I wanted to say, so while I'm there, I did get a run in. And that's one of those places. It's like Northern California. When I'm there, I've got to at least run once just because the weather's phenomenal, and you got the Pacific Ocean. Anytime I'm in California near the coast, southern or northern. If I'm in DC, running on the mall, and you run down. Or for me, I run down to the Lincoln Memorial, and then when you turn back, the sun's coming up, right up over the Capitol. So as you run down the mall, you're looking straight down the mall at the Capitol, and it's just amazing. It is probably it's got to be my favorite run that I do. Beautiful. So I highly recommend anybody that does any running or whatever. Next time you're in DC, early morning, get out, run on the mall. Go check it out. It's the best way to see the mall, in my opinion. And then they had, the sad part. So I don't know if you seen the COVID flag memorial?
No.
So they've taken all these white flags, like they're just little flags that you stick to like mark something, right? Usually they're yellow or they're orange or something
like a survey
that.
flag.
Like a survey flag, exactly.
Okay.
It's a survey flag. Yeah. So, but it's obviously 600 plus thousand of these survey flags, all white, all across. It's kind of like, when you look at the tombstones, at the military.
Are you saying it's like a visual representation of the folks that have died from COVID?
Yes, yeah.
Oh,
The
okay.
flag represents everybody that has passed away or has been killed by COVID. And it's just, it's one of those things where visually it brings in how many stinking people, right? I mean, you hear the number, and the number's huge. But, man, when you see it out like that, it's like, wow, pretty impactful. So that's there, right there at the Washington Monument. And then it covers 2 or 3 different fields there. So, but city was great. City was beautiful. We had excellent turnout. Lots of folks there. I thought United did a really nice job. Things were with the COVID stuff, it was a little bit different, but not too bad. Had a great went out. I wouldn't say so. Went out to a dinner place called Succotash, which Succotash is a Southern term. I can't remember the definition of it, but I've always heard Succotash, but trying to think of a sentence I've heard it used in, but
Suffering Succotash?
has to do with food. Doesn't matter. What's that?
Yeah, Sylvester the cat used to say suffering
Looney
Succotash.
Tunes.
Suffering Succotash.
Yeah. But it's actually a meal. It's a food. Succotash is some kind of Southern dish.
I know what it is. Yeah.
What is it then?
Southern dish.
Okay,
it's
that's
like a
what
hash.
I'm saying.
It's like a with squash, isn't it? Pretty sure.
Not.
And potato. What is it, Laura? Will you look it up,
Squash
please?
and potatoes?
Because now we sound like morons.
Look it up while I'm telling.
We should know what
I'm talking about
succotash
this
is.
restaurant. The chef at this restaurant is Korean, so this is a Southern it's a Korean Southern mashup.
I think I saw him on the Food
got it.
Network. What is it, Laura?
It's a vegetable dish consisting primarily of sweet corn with lima beans or other shell beans.
Thank you for
Other
that bean squash.
ingredients may be added, such as onions, potatoes, turnips, tomatoes, bell peppers, corned beef, okra.
I was on the
So,
track.
no squash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you
Yeah,
say squash?
But you know what? We need to say no. She didn't say that. But we need.
Oh.
You know what? I'm going to make succotash with squash. I'm going to create the squash succotash.
Okay.
Call it sun-fed, perfect squash succotash. I like that. You know what? I'm going to go to work on that. I'm put that down, Craig Slate, in your notes. Go make succotash squash. Go ahead, Ed. Weren't you going to say something before?
I think I saw him on the Food Network. Yeah, I think I saw him on the Food Network. The guy you're talking about, that chef.
Yeah. But we went, so, and again, it's Southern cooking. So, health is a little bit, I wouldn't say this is the place you want to go to continue your health journey. But if you fasted most of the day, it's an outstanding restaurant to go to. And we did basically we did family style. So we just started ordering stuff off the menu to try a bunch of different stuff.
The old family style routine.
Outstanding place. Family style, baby. Yeah. You feel better that way. Little portions. You think you're not eating that much. And then next thing you know, you've eaten
well, you get to try everything, like you said. That's a great way of doing it.
Yeah, we figured, you know what, and maybe it's an opportunity for us to spread COVID. So
that's funny that you said that, because there's a restaurant right across the street from the hotel that we ate at, I think, once. That's also kind of
we did used to be Oprah
cooking.
Winfrey's favorite restaurant.
Yeah, that place was.
I don't think it exists
really
anymore.
good, but again, it wasn't.
That was the bomb.
Super,
I'm trying to remember what they called that place.
It wasn't there anymore.
I think it's closed. Yeah, I think that's gone.
It's too bad. It was really good.
I'm trying to remember the name of it. So
yeah, I remember I had.
But DC.
Shrimp and grits there. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, they had that. Of course, they had grits and the shrimp and grits and everything on this menu, and cool decor inside the restaurant. It's kind of got a South Louisiana flair to it. Just well done. Succotash. Next time you're in DC, make sure you put that on your list of places to eat. But I did want to say, so we're there on the hill, and you've done it several times, right? And the thing that I think most people, after you do it a few times, you learn just how slow government moves, don't you?
Oh, it's discouraging.
Yeah. Well, it's discouraging if the stuff you want moving is not moving, but if the stuff that you don't want moving isn't moving, then you're kind of glad government moves slow. So it all depends on which side of the debate you're on, right?
Yeah, touche.
But as we go up and lobby for stuff, when I first went in '99, we were we were lobbying for what seems to be obviously something that would be a no-brainer, right? Which was back then in '99, women, infant, and children, what's called WIC program, did not have a provision for fresh fruits and vegetables, right? So WIC didn't include that. So that seems like one of those things that you tell Congress and whatever, hey, that WIC program, really, how about some fresh fruits and vegetables for folks? He'd be like, heck yeah, let's rubber stamp that dude. Let's put it in. Literally 10 years of going up on the Hill and having that as an issue before it actually got included. Women, infant, and children.
Mm-hmm.
And so now this year, they raised
And that's a
the
good idea.
allotment due to what's that?
And that's a good idea.
Yeah, and that's a good idea. Yeah, yeah, exactly. And that's one that very few people are going to stand in the way and say, "Yeah, that stinks. Let's don't do that." But the people that do stand in the way, why does that take so long? Well, if you're milking cows for a living, you want all the money going to dairy products. You want dairy to be the only thing everybody's eating on the WIC program or getting a discount for. And if you're the guys raising grain or whatever, you want to talk about how healthy all that wheat and corn and everything is, right? So, or if you're a canned pineapple maker, hey, I got fruits and vegetables. They're just in a can. Give me the discounts on that. So so there's reasons for people to be against it because it affects them financially. But just on an intuitive standpoint, everybody's like, yeah, we really want people eating healthier. They should eat, but that's not the way government works, not the way any of this works. It's never about logic. But this year, they increased it to $35, but that's what we were up there lobbying this year. So it's now it's fruits and vegetables are on the WIC program, but they raised up the allotment to $35, but it's about to revert back to $9. So we were up there trying to say, hey, can we keep this thing going at $35? And I don't know, kind of think it's going to win, but who knows?
What I'm not clear on is, let's say when the $35 was in effect, is that $35 allocated just for fresh fruits and vegetables, or could it be used for something else, which would, that's not?
No, I believe it's $35 allocated for fresh fruits and vegetables.
And if you don't use it for that, you can't use it for anything else, because that's where the key is, right?
It's my understanding.
It's dedicated. Right. Yeah. Because
that's my understanding.
All right.
So anyway, great time up on the Hill. Got to see a lot of people. It's good to see the industry continue to be back out. I had the organic show week before, United. Yeah, I mean, shaking and baking, planes are packed.
Yeah, I would say I wouldn't consider myself even close to being a huge political person, but when I've made those trips, I definitely come back a lot more tuned in to politics and what's going on in the country, legislative and otherwise. It kind of charges you up, and if you've never seen it, and if you've never been there, I would obviously during a non-COVID time would be great, but it's amazing. The city's, just sheerly the amount of marble and granite in that city is pretty amazing. Like, just the way everything's constructed, architecture. Right. Like, there's so many things if you're into, you will, like, if you're, an art buff, if you're a history buff, if you're, it's just, if you're a foodie, it's a great city.
Did you know they had a Chinatown?
I did not.
With a big archway. Yeah. And the hotel we've been staying at, we're like 2 blocks from it. Ridiculous. I take a stroll. And I went down, and it's just like, in San Francisco, how they've got the entry to the Chinatown, that the big, I don't know what you would call that, archway. They got one very similar there. It's crazy. Literally just 2 blocks over from where we stay.
Interesting.
But something that out of that, and this is
I got the
this
sense
is
you're
how
gonna
you
get
do
serious.
segues. This is how you do segues, Ed. Right.
Okay.
So we're talking DC,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to take and continue to talk about DC, but I want to take and bring up my quote, which is coming from my time in DC.
Oh man!
So you see how nicely that works. So we're keeping a theme. We're keeping DC, and now we're continuing to talk about it, and we're leading right into quote of the week.
We'll get this one day. Yeah, go for it.
I know we will. So what this is? So this quote, and it is a quote by. Let me see what the young man's name is. I believe it was like, I don't know, 600-700 AD, back when that movie you're watching. But it's German Lutheran theologian of the early 17th century, Rupertus Melitinius. I'm not going to say that twice.
Please don't.
You have to look it up.
Please don't.
So it's on a building, and so Toner, John Toner, who's one of our better shows.
Our
when we
first
interviewed
interview.
John, he was on here. Our first interview, right?
Yeah.
Well, John sent this out, and it's a picture from a building. So John runs the whole United thing, and so as a thank you note, he's sending out. But he sent out this quote from a building as he's walking through town. It's a building there in DC, and so I loved it. So I thought, I'll include that in my DC discussion, and it also becomes my quote of the day. So in Essentials, and my segue, all this so.
Popping.
I'm going to get professional at this, man. I'm going to be a writer. In Essentials, unity, semicolon. In non-essentials, liberty, semicolon. In all things, this is the big one, charity. In essentials, unity. We got to be together. When things are essential, we must be one. And those things non-essential, we must allow liberty. But in all that we do, everything, no matter agree, disagree, like, don't like, in all things, we must have charity.
That's pretty strong, man.
Mic drop.
Yeah. I don't even know if I want to share mine. Mine
It
comes
is,
from a dang TV show, but that's good.
I should let you go first, but I wasn't going to be able to get my segue in if I let you go first. So
yeah, I mean, you really
something nice.
It takes a couple times reading it, but it really sinks in. It's very inspiring. I like it.
Yeah, and I don't know which building that's on. I guess Toner needs to write. Toner, I know you listen.
Well,
could you comment?
He sent
maybe
you a picture,
post
right?
up.
He sent you a picture?
Let us know. Yeah, he sent me a picture, but I don't know which building it's on down in DC. I don't know which
okay.
building that came from in DC.
Let me finish. You can just drop photos in Google now, and it'll pull stuff up. Like you can Google search with photos or images or whatever you want. Like it'll search.
While you're doing your thing, Laura, why don't you do that? I sent you the photo. You know how to do that.
You made
it
sound like, oh yeah, I'll do it. Hey Laura, can you help me?
Well, we could be here a while.
Look, if nothing else, watching The Last Kingdom has reminded me how tough our forefathers were, or just folks in history, people from history, like how tough life was. And so two of the quotes are from characters from The Last Kingdom that struck me as significant, simple, really, but and to the point. And one was a quote from King Alfred of Wessex, and his quote was, "Fear is within all of us, as is strength." That's it.
Yes.
Very simple, but true. Fear is within all of us, as is strength.
Amen.
Yes. And the other is from the main character, Uhtred of, I think, Barenberg. His quote is...
I'm sorry? Well, I'm sorry, what's his name?
Uhtred.
Uhtred?
Yeah.
How do you spell that?
Uhtred. And his quote, which he has many of during the the series, but I'm only 2 episodes into season 2. Is
right.
courage is finding the will to overcome your fear, nothing more. So, you know, in the theme of, you know, being strong and discipline, and I just thought those were 2 you know, very basic comments or statements, quotes, but
Yep.
you know, worth pondering. Courage is finding the will to overcome your fear. That's it.
Well, and I think, you know, you talked about it in that first quote, you know, fears within us all. You know, I think there's a lot of people that think maybe they're the only ones that have fear, right? Or you see people that do really well at something or seem to have everything going their way, but feel like that maybe the rest of the world doesn't suffer from fear. It's like, no, no. We all are battling fear. You know, and quite often fear is the limiting factor on what we will or what we can or can't do. At the end of the day, it's the, at least I know for me, it's fear that keeps me from achieving things that I want to achieve for sure. And then, like I said, you got to have that courage to overcome it.
Yep.
That's how you push to the next level.
Push
So, yeah,
through.
very nice quotes.
I'm glad you
Maybe
liked
I'll
my
watch
quotes.
that show.
I really thought they were a little
that sounds a hell of a
underwhelming
lot.
compared
sounds
to
a hell of
yours.
a lot better than that freaking Alone show, empty
Oh,
show,
God.
guys hitting squirrels with a rock. I just can't waste my time watching that kind of empty. But
Wow.
before that go, you mentioned how
Wow.
hard it was. You know what? Look, maybe one day you watch Molly and you'll feel like, okay, I see where Craig's at, right? But so I'm on the plane, right? This is my opportunity to see. I see more stuff. That's the only thing I ever see movie wise is on a plane, basically. 12 Orphans. Have you seen that?
Mm-mm.
So this is about these. It's a football 12 orphans. It takes place in Fort Worth. It's based on a true story. It's a book, a bestseller book. Oh my God! You want to talk about hard living, different world, how we treated kids back in that time. You know, this is during the Dust Bowl. Super miserable time for the country. Depression, Dust Bowl, all sorts of things. You know, we talk about how much is going wrong now, right? You know, and I guess at any point things could get that way again, but I don't think people
Is it
realize
based on
how
a novel? I
bad.
mean, is it like based on a Steinbeck
Yeah,
novel, or what? I mean, who's
it's not Steinbeck.
okay?
It's not Steinbeck. It's I don't know who it is. It's based on a novel
Okay.
that was written, and like I say, what a time, man! What a time in the country, because everything bad kind of came together all at once during that time, and that's one of those deals where we don't realize how fortunate we are, you know, to have gotten through that. How bad it was, but I mean, they had just finished up World War I, which is at that time. Laura, you got the writer?
Yes, his name is Jim Dent.
Jim Dent.
Jim
I
Dent.
recognize that name. Maybe he's written
Yeah,
some
me
other
neither.
stuff. No, I said I recognize it. That sounds familiar, but maybe that was a football player, Jim Dent. I think Jim Dent was also a football player. Maybe did he play football, Laura? Maybe.
I don't know. Let's see.
you're
He also
thinking
wrote The Junction
Richard Dent.
Boys.
No, but I think Jim Dent was. So Junction Boys was a football movie as well, which is another great movie. If you've never seen the Junction Boys, that's a great
It's
freaking
a
show.
Bear Bryant.
But anyway, yeah, and so this movie is awesome, but it's also super sad. But it got me to thinking. So I'm going to be going to look back at. I'm going to go watch some videos and some different history stuff on that time frame. I know, and I've seen stuff on the Depression and what was going on, but you know, it really piqued my interest to go back and look at some of that stuff. But everything came together in a bad way. Like I said, finished up World War I. You know, we had this economic boom, so to speak, you know, in terms of stock market and asset prices and everything escalated up. People leveraged really hard. And then economically, we had an implosion, bank run, got bad. Then you had the dust storm, which wiped out farming and livelihood for everybody, particularly Oklahoma, Texas. But the farming community got wiped out. My parents, both being older, I was a late baby. They both were alive during that. My mother was a kid, and talked about that. And of course, both my parents commented. I asked them. I said, "Hey, how was living through the Depression?" My mother says, "We didn't know it was the same for us before and after. We didn't know there was a depression. We just thought that was life." So they were always definitely on the poor side, but the whole point of this, as you mentioned, how hard it was, as this movie or the show you're watching. People really ought to go back and look at the country and look at what life was back for us in that late 20s to call it late 30s. Really, World War II ultimately pulled us out of some pretty, that along with some work programs is really how the country was able to get back to being on top. And then it came out on the other side of World War II, a manufacturing juggernaut. So,
well, the
anyhow,
infrastructure programs that you're talking about too, right? Like bridges, dams, like
yeah, that's what I'm saying. The work programs that they
Yeah.
put in, and put everybody to work building something. They didn't just hand out checks. It's a little bit different back then, which I think was a better way. I mean, they said, "Hey, we're going to give you a check, but you got to go, build a railroad or build a bridge or build something," right?
Mhm.
They call them shovel-ready projects. Now we just, "Hey, sit at the house, and we'll send you a check. Be careful." That's right. Yeah, that's right. Y'all send your cards and letters to me.
That's a whole other podcast.
All right. It is. You don't want to be on that one either. I know you. You don't like third rail topics. So, what else? All right. So you did. So Ryder Cup. Do you want to get into the details? You talked about how many people versus how many people into space, but it's the Ryder Cup.
It's Ryder Cup week. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm super behind. I've been busy. I haven't watched I watched up through day one, and U.S. was up 6-2 through day one, which is the largest leads in like 44 years or something like that. So they're playing well. Early on in the Ryder Cup, the U.S. would win almost guaranteed for years, and then Europe came on strong when Seve Ballesteros was in his heyday, and European team. Well, early on it was only, I guess, Great Britain, and then they expanded, right, to all of Europe. And so, yeah, Europe's had a run of a lot of victories in the last, 20 years ish.
Yep.
And U.S. lost pretty handily in Paris in the last Ryder Cup. But this year they came out, they came out playing really well. I've never been to Whistling Straits. It was, from what I understand, built by Herb Kohler, and the founder of Kohler Industries.
Kohler
so
faucets.
Big money in toilets. He built Fond du Lac,
Squatty
which
Potties.
is another pretty significant golf course in that region, and then Whistling Straits. I mean, impressive that a private citizen, built something like that. A business owner. So it's pretty cool. I've never been, but I'd like to go one day. So yeah, it's Ryder Cup, and so I'm gonna watch some of that later. We skipped what you're.
So yeah, you don't want me to tell you anything about the Ryder Cup. Is that what you're saying?
I don't want to know. No, you don't. I haven't looked at social media because it'll ruin. Today's Sunday for those of you that don't know. So today's singles matches. So I gotta get caught up on yesterday. So I'll speed watch that shortly. And yeah, that's what's going on for golf. Football, Aggies lost yesterday, right? And then today, are you watching?
Yeah. The Ags did lose. I was afraid of that. I will tell you though. So they legalized gambling here in Arizona, and so they've been running all these free promotions through DraftKings, so you get like these free bets and stuff. So I hated the Aggies lost, but I won a few bucks because I was a little concerned. Arkansas covered the spread, and then I also bet the over or the under and the spread for Arkansas parlay. So I did have that. So I kind of licked my wounds with winnings on the old DraftKings. So good news there.
Yeah.
So one way, I was super sad, but I was able to feel better as long as I got a couple extra dollars to enjoy.
Hey kids, get your bets in.
Oh, it's all the rage out here, man. Like I say, they legalized it, and man, they've been everybody's all the chatter.
It's all the rage. Gambling's been around for a while, right?
All the rage. What's that?
Gambling's been around for a while.
It's the second oldest profession.
Did you? I got you. Did you eat anything interesting this week?
Yes, I did, sir. I did. I love how you teed me up very nicely. Very nice.
Well, it sounded like you're ready to wrap up, and I am too, to a degree, because you are, and trying to take care of you.
Well, and our listeners usually are ready for us to wrap up, so that's why. So I'm gonna. So,
Virgil's root beer, extra sugar.
But you see there it says 0 sugar, bud.
Yeah.
And it's, so it's got monk fruit extract is kind of the sweetener. So it doesn't have sweetener. It does have ethanol and stevia, which I'm not big fans of that, but I wanted to give it a try and see. It's not too bad. It's one of those things, if you want to treat yourself and you want to treat it without, knocking yourself out, it's got 0 calories. But I mean, I'm talking about it comes as a 4-pack.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's like maybe something I'll have, after dinner, or in place of alcoholic beverage or something. I'll substitute that little dude in and enjoy that. And yeah, it's not a bad deal. So yeah, 0 sugar root beer, Virgil's. So again, I'm going to tell you, taste wise, it's probably on a scale of 1 to 10. I give it about 6.5, 7. Needs more carbonation. So that's the thing I think that's lacking. So it's a little flat.
May I give you a hack? If you like root
Please.
beer or cream soda.
Yeah, root beer I like. Cream
If
soda,
you're not averse to, are you familiar with Mio? The product Mio. It's like a little additive. So you get mineral water.
Granny used to use them all the time.
Mineral water and either the caramel Mio or the butterscotch Mio. There's a couple different flavors, but you can replicate that taste.
Okay.
Pretty close, and you'll get all the carbonation you want from mineral water. Yeah, it's really good.
Wow, I love that hack.
Mm-hmm.
I bet it's the caramel. The one that gives you the root beer flavor, right?
Yeah, I think it is. Actually, I mean, it tasted a lot like cream soda to me, but it's good. And they have, Mio has sugar-free products, sugar products, and then like an energy line. Watch out for you, because they have a caffeinated line where they have added.
I'm looking for a little booster.
Oh, really?
A little booster.
Okay.
Right
before bed.
Yeah, okay. So, what about you? What you eating there, cowboy?
I've got Chloe's. Yeah. So Chloe's.
Is that an ice cream?
Yeah, they're desserts, but they are GMO.
Well, I know, but I can't tell. Are they frozen foods?
Organic. They're popsicles, right? So a while back,
okay,
I was going on and on about their oat milk, salted caramel bars, and I discovered these coconut dip dark chocolate is one of them, and the other one is just lime.
Ooh.
Juice fruit, water, and cane sugar. It's sugar, but 60 calories a pop, pretty low calorie, and it's natural, so, and non-dairy.
Cocaine's natural, Ed.
Wine. What?
And it's good. Wine, cocaine and wine's two different things.
Did I say
I'm
wine?
just saying. Just because something's natural doesn't make it.
Wine's natural too, and it has sugar. Okay, look.
You look up. I
It's
want
a
you to
healthier
look up and
alternative to.
You tell me how much sugar wine has. Somebody, Laura, I want you to look it up right now. I want to put this. I want you to look up. I want to know how much sugar is in wine, because there's a lot of people that want to argue with me about this.
Okay, could we just do a whole other podcast?
Here comes Laura, and the survey says,
why don't you do a podcast while I'm gone on wine? You can have like a wine cast.
Wine.
Yeah. So 1.2 grams in 5 ounces. And there's some sugar in
Yes,
wine.
there's some. 1.5 grams. 5 ounces of Coke. How much sugar?
Oh, a lot. Do you want me to actually look up the numbers?
Well,
on
no,
that?
you don't need to look it up. Just the whole point of it is 1.5 grams. I don't think people realize how little sugar is in wine.
Yeah. Red wine has less.
But I mean, your pours are like 25
how much
ounces.
Is in red wine? She gave you the. Yeah.
Okay, so for red wine in 5 ounces, it's 0.9 grams, but some of the sweet white wines could have up to 7 grams.
I'm never drinking
that.
So
Stick with red.
Yeah, stick with red. Under 1 gram of sugar per 5 ounces. So when I drink 30 ounces of wine, basically, what am I looking at? What is it,
Wait,
6
how
times?
much is 30 ounces?
30 ounces of wine. I get 6 grams of sugar. So I think I'm okay. 6 grams of sugar.
Still
I'm
sugar in
that
it.
much in a day, Ed.
There's still sugar in
Okay,
it. Like you can't say no sugar. As long as you can't say no sugar.
Right. And caffeine maybe should be a controlled substance because it's a drug.
Well, eating 2 of these is like drinking a glass of your wine. So.
But I think they do make wine that is 0 sugar.
It's called moonshine. And we do have some football today, NFL. Cowboys won last week. Exciting win. Got the Cowboys and Eagles tomorrow night. Yeah. I don't know. What else? Anything else of super outstanding interest we need to put in the show before we go?
I think we're good. I think we're good.
We got our quotes. We got our what to eat. Just don't want to leave the audience without something they came for. People show up here looking for something. Just got to make sure that we've delivered all of it.
Yeah. Well, you've been delivering quite a bit.
We didn't talk about crypto.
After the
we didn't talk crypto.
Potty talk.
It's relevant. I don't. I thought about the potty thing. Something we might want to look into because I heard from a couple of people. Apparently, the squatty potty is more common than you thought. But maybe we could do the Fresh CrEd squatty potty. That way, when we could give those out to folks, right? Have our website on there.
Promo.
That way, when you're sitting on the toilet, huh? Yeah.
All right.
You think that's an idea instead of caps? See if Olivia can do. See if Olivia. What's that?
We've completely digressed.
Well, you offered the segue. I thought that was a tee up for me.
Okay.
That's so. I guess right now, no on the squatty potty ads.
Yeah, you can have them at your booth at the next trade show. How does that sound? Do you feel that passionate about it? Huh?
It's all about the health, baby. All about the health. Well, we get decals. They can choose to stick them on their squatty potty.
Cool.
But, I don't know. Something to think about, Ed.
I'll get
you
to
know
work.
what? People are focused at that time. So, all right. So,
no, it's funny.
Okay. Let's.
Allulose. We're not going to talk about allulose. You mentioned you wanted to talk about allulose.
Oh, my God. Yeah, we need allulose.
Right before we leave. God, why did I do that? Oh, man.
Yeah, we'll save allulose. That'll be something good for next time. And watermelon. We didn't talk about ultra hydration of watermelon.
Okay.
Damn it.
Good enough.
lycopene by AC, all that. Well, Ed, I think we have covered soup to nuts once again. I think all of our listeners will get a few little nuggets to take with them for the week. That's the whole idea. I know I got a few nuggets to take with me. Some good ideas.
Let's do something exciting this week. I mean, let's really try something different to bring back.
Let's try living.
Like, I'm challenging you, you challenge me.
Okay.
We're coming back with something out of this world next week.
So if I go into orbit, would that work?
I want to know that, like, you did some rock climbing, hang gliding, skydiving. You tried a bunch of different foods. Some good health nuggets. I mean, I gave you mineral water and, what did I say? Mio for a hack for root beer.
I got to come back with it. Yeah. So you're saying that you brought it today and that I'm the one that was behind?
No, I wouldn't go that far.
Trying to say. Thanks.
No,
now
I wouldn't go that far. You brought it. You brought it.
Well,
all right.
I feel better now. You picked me up. So
should we wrap it up?
All right. Well, I guess so, Laura. I hope you have a wonderful day.
Thanks, Dad. Can't wait to do a call with you and Mom later.
Absolutely. Looking forward to our afternoon familiar call with our new addition. And Edward, good luck with your Ryder Cup. I hope it doesn't bring you down. Hope it doesn't make a mess of your day, but I'm not going to say one way or the other.
Yeah, well, that was telling.
All
right.
Hope it's super positive. But anyway, blessed week, blessed day, all that great stuff. So, but before we go
get them.
Do some house cleaning for us there, buddy.
For sure, folks. Follow us at the Fresh CrEd on Instagram, at CrEd Fresh on Twitter, and the Fresh CrEd on YouTube. Follow, share, send a topic. We've gotten some great feedback recently. There might be some more caps in inventory soon. We'll send out for those of you that engage and help us out.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks for listening. We really appreciate it, everyone. Have a great week, and we will see you all next time on the Fresh CrEd podcast. Take care. We're out. See y'all.
See ya.